farmers. My name is Lusanda Vika from OR Tambo Inland District, a subject advisor for agricultural sciences. Welcome to the ECDOE broadcast studio. The lesson is about animal nutrition continuation. I will be covering the topics that I have not yet covered from the animal feeds up to the end of the lesson. The animal nutrition, our continuation. So the Fodder flow program. What is a Fodder flow program? The name flow. It means a farmer now has to produce food for animals, or can you feed for animals, fodder for animals throughout the year. The farmer needs to ensure that all the animals in the farm are covered. The weaners, the animals that are producing, the lactating animals, they need to have feed throughout the year. They need to be accommodated throughout the year. So this Fodder flow program, it shows a balance between the feed that is produced in the farm and the actual feed that is required by farm animals. A balanced feed and the feed that needs to be available, or the required feed for animals throughout the year. A farmer needs to ensure that correct proportions of these feeds are available for the farmer, for animals to produce the correct nutrients in right proportions. They need to be available for farmers to produce efficiently. So now we have two types of ration. We have the maintenance ration and the production ration. The maintenance ration is an amount of feed that is given to farm animals just to maintain their body mass. They don't need a feed to produce. It is just to maintain their body mass and their composition. Whereas a production ration is a feed that it's a feed over and above maintenance ration for an animal to do work. So an animal, in order to grow, an animal to produce, it needs a production ration. Then we have a Fodder flow program. When calculating a Fodder flow program, it is the only calculation that does not have a formula. This is the only one that does not have a formula. You just listen to the question, how many animals that you are feeding for how long. If you are feeding animals for a month, you will look at the specific month that you are told to prepare a fodder for those animals. If it is June, you know the days of June that they are 30. If it is March, you should know the days of March that they are 31. But if you are preparing a fodder for animals for 6 months, we use the average days of the month, which is 30 days. So also you are required to know how to change tons into kg and kg into tons. When changing tons into kg or kg into tons, we use 1,000. If you are changing tons to kg, we multiply by 1,000. If you are changing kgs into tons, we divide by 1,000. That is a secret you must know. A ton usually is a few figures. Then you multiply by 1,000. And if it is in kg, kgs are normally in many figures. Then you divide by 1,000. Let us look at the importance of a fodder flow. I've mentioned in our definition what a fodder flow is. It ensures that the animals have fodder throughout the year. So a farmer here needs to ensure that there is consistent feed supply. Also, a farmer has to ensure that he supplies fodder to his farm, to his hair farm animals that is of high quality in order for the animals to be productive. Also, it is for the optimal use of resources, the land, the labor, the water. They need to be used efficiently. Then maximizes profitability. There's no need for a farmer to buy supplements that are expensive. If a farmer prepares a fodder for a year, he prepares a fodder for winners, there's no need to buy supplements, prepares a fodder for lactating animals, there's no need to buy supplements. So it maximizes profitability. Then here is the exercise. The data below relates to the fodder flow program for a period of 6 months. There you study the table. There's a secret good learner. So here is an activity. It is presented in a form of a table. Most of the time you will find the fodder flow program presented in a form of a table. There is a secret in studying a question that is in a form of a table, in a form of graph, scenario, a diagram, a picture, because we have to first study the question, thereby understanding it, so that when you go to the questions, you are free to move within what is being asked. Then the data below relates to the fodder flow plan for a period of 6 months. There's a forage, there's a yield is in tons, there's an area where the fodder is being planted. The months is July, August, September, October, November, December, and then the total of the dry matter. The felt here in tons, it is 2,19. The area where the forage is planted is 40. So you have to understand that by July, August, September, there is nothing in the field. But October, November, December, there is 10, 10, 20, and then the dry matter total is 40. When you add 10, 10, and 20, it gives you 40. Then the forage sorghum, the yield is 12 tons. The area is 25 hectares. And then July, August, September, October, there's nothing. Then in November, 43, December, 23, and then giving a total of 73. We study it right through. Likewise, the Lucerne yield 15 hectares, 15. Throughout these 6 months, there is a yield for Lucerne, but there's no total. Then the total feed per tons here, it is 40, 35, because we are adding, there is nothing in July, only the Lucerne. That is why that is total. There's nothing in August, Equifeld, forage, and sorghum. It is only in Lucerne, that is 35. So these are the totals that you get when adding the 2, the 3. 3, 6, 8, this is the total. Here plus here plus here, this is the total. So you study that very well and then you understand. Then there comes the shortage. Then in July, livestock requirements is 51, whereas the total feed that is available is 40. So there is a shortage of 11. So livestock requirements in August is 49. The total field per ton is 35. So a shortage is 14. You study that throughout and then you see what you are about to do. And then a question raised. Draw a bar graph to compare the total fees of and livestock requirements. So you're looking specifically at the livestock requirements and the total fees, what you are going to put in the bar graph for July to December. It means you are going to look here for July to December. So you develop a bar graph. When drawing a bar graph, you have to ensure that the variables are in their places, the y-axis variables and the x-axis variables. The x-axis variables are the months, your July, August, September, and the y-axis variables. You have to make up your mind now, because you have to ensure that in the y-axis variable, what's this? The scale. You have to ensure that the scale is correct, because you'll find that learners, they don't mind about the scale. The scale in y-axis, you start calculating from 0, and then the next number from 0, maybe you will decide to calculate by 5. It will be 5, 10, 15, 20. If you decide to calculate with 20 scale circle, you will say 0, 10, 20, 30, 40. So there's no way that you will start saying 10 and then you will move to 15. There's no way. Okay, you only accommodate the numbers that appear in the table. There is no way. So you have to be consistent with your scale so as to get marks for a calibration and the scaling y-axis. So in one y-axis, you have to put the total fees and the livestock requirements in tons. The total feed is, this is the scale. Maybe you decide to use 10, it's 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. So this is your y-axis, and I say you will put the total feeds and the livestock this side in y. Yes. So you'll have to put on your y-axis the total feeds and the livestock requirements. And then this side you will put months. Then your July, August, September, your July, August, September. And don't forget, when marking a graph has got 6 marks. So you have to ensure that you get all the marks for the graph. I said, y-axis, you'll put the total fees and the livestock. So don't forget to put a unit of tons. So it will be total feed and livestock requirements in tons as a unit, because there's a mark for unit. And if a unit happens to appear on both axis, y-axis and x-axis, you have to put both of the units. And then you put your graph. There is a question that says, make a combined bar graph. The combined bar graph is nothing else than combining the variables that you are comparing. I was talking about the combined graph. So you have to ensure that the bars that you are comparing are combined, because you learners, good learners, you used to confuse this bar graph and end up making a histogram. You just combine the graphs that are in question. So it will be the graph for total fees and the livestock requirement. They will be combined because you are comparing the two. And make sure that the key is clear. You don't need to make keys of different highlights. You can just highlight one key and then leave the other one clear, because it will take your time. That is a combined graph. You just combine the variables, the bars of the variables that you are comparing only. Then secondly, you calculate the surplus in the month of December in a kg. The surplus in the month of December in a kg. So this is a column for a surplus in the month of December in a kg. We said when we're doing this calculation, we say 30, this is a ton. So when we move a ton into a kg, we say 30 times 1,000, and then you get your sum. It will be in kg, because I said when calculating, when converting a kg to a ton, you divide by 1,000. When converting a ton into kg, you multiply by 1,000. You use a standard figure, which is 1,000. Then thirdly, suggest 2 cost-effective measures for a farmer to implement to deal with the surplus in the month of December. If the feed is more, it has been produced as an oversupply, what can a farmer do? Now let us look in the next page. And Mfundi, let us answer this as a homework, what a farmer will do to deal with the surplus in the month of December. Now let us move to the components of feeds. What does the feed compose of? What does it contain, the feed? When we talk of the components of a feed, we have a feed there. A feed has got 2 components. It has got the dry part, it has got a moist part. Now, let me use this one. Let's say this has got a moisture part, okay, the part of the feed that has got water, and this one has got a dry part. This is an illustration of components of a feed. In the dry part of a feed, we have the organic part and the inorganic part of a feed. In the organic part of a feed, we have the fats, we have the proteins, we have the carbohydrates, we have the vitamins. In the part of the inorganic part of a feed, we have the minerals. With the minerals, we have the micro and the macro minerals. Ne? And then in vitamins, we have fat-soluble vitamins and we have water-soluble vitamins. We have water-soluble vitamins and a fat-soluble vitamins. Then the moisture part in a feed is very important than the dry part in a feed. Why? An animal can go days without food or without feed, but only few days without water. Water plays a very important role in the animal's body as it regulates the temperature. When it is hot, when it drinks water, the body temperature is regulated. It is a solvent through which solutes dissolves. It is a medium for a chemical reaction. There's no chemical reaction in an animal's body that can take place when there is no water. It is a transport medium through which substances that needs to be secreted move, substances that needs to be absorbed or move throughout the body. It also uses water. Then looking at the carbohydrates, we have carbohydrates in 3 forms. Carbohydrates in a form of starch, in a form of simple sugars, that is the monosaccharides, and in a form of the crude fiber. When we talk of a crude fiber, we talk of lignin and the cellulose. Then we have carbohydrates, the sugar, the starch, and the crude fiber. With the crude fiber, we have the cellulose and the lignin. Both of them are hard to digest. Only the ruminants can be able to digest the cellulose. What are the functions of carbohydrates? They give heat and energy to the animal's body. They stimulate the functioning of the digestive system in an animal, more especially a ruminant. Because when we talk of stimulation of digestive system. In a case of young ruminants, their digestive system needs to be stimulated in order to work. So it is because of the presence of carbohydrates in their feed that they are able to perform their work. So carbohydrates gives a bulk in the animal's feed. The greatest portion of the animal's feed should be carbohydrates because they give heat and energy in the animal's body. Then the proteins. Proteins, they are very important. We talked about the proteins when we're talking about the biological value of a feed, when we're talking about the Pearson square, when we're talking about the nutritive ratio. Protein enables an animal to grow, enables an animal to produce and reproduce. It is responsible to build up the worn out tissues in an animal's body. It is responsible for the production of enzymes and hormones in an animal's body. And also, it is very important in the muscle tissue as it is a component of the muscle tissue. And then the fats and the oils. The common name for the fats and oils is the lipids. When we talk of lipids, we're talking of fats and oils. Fats in room temperature are hard, they are solid in room temperature, whereas liquid in room temperature, oils in room temperature, they are liquids. Oils in room temperature are liquid. Fats in room temperature are solid. The functions of fats, they are the main source of energy. More of fat that is being produced is stored as energy. It has got as much, twice as the amount of as carbohydrates in terms. When we're talking of fats and energy, it has got more energy than carbohydrates. Fats have got a tendency of insulating the internal organs, the heart, the ear, the eyes. They are covered by a lot of fats. So they protect and insulate internal and sensitive body organs. So let us look at this activity. The schematic representation below illustrates the nutrient composition of a feed for farm animals. There is a feed which is 30 kgs, the dry matter. You remember when we talk of the dry matter, I said the dry matter has got two parts. And then I said it in a feed, we have the side of a dry matter and we have a side of the moist part in a feed. So looking at the dry matter and then A, B, C, and we're looking at D as we are looking down the table, we are able to work on that. Let's read the question. Label nutrient component A, B, C, D. So A, it is the moisture part. B, it is the inorganic part. C, it is the organic part, which has got a protein, and then the oils, so it is the lipids here. The moisture part here, the inorganic part, upper, it is the organic component of a feed. Indicate the value of component A. The value of component A, obviously, it is 30 and 25, so we minus 25 into 30. Simple like that. Let's move on. These are the answers. Now the vitamins. The vitamins, I mentioned the vitamins there. They are divided into two according to their solubility. We have the water-soluble and fat-soluble vitamins. Vitamin A is for the production, healthy visions, and if there is a shortage of vitamin A, an animal will have night blindness. Also will suffer from keratomalase. Vitamin D is for absorption of magnesium and, of phosphorus and calcium. absorption of calcium and magnesium for healthy bones and teeth. No, this is not magnesium here. It is phosphorus. Absorption of calcium and phosphorus. We know when we talk of phosphorus and calcium, we talk of healthy bones and teeth. And if an animal is deficient of the vitamin D together with the mineral, macronutrients, calcium and phosphorus, the animal will have rickets. Rickets will be in young animals. Osteomalacia will be porous bones in old animals. Then vitamin E is an antioxidant. And if an animal is suffering from vitamin E, it will suffer from dystrophy. It will have a dystrophy disease, as vitamin D is a metabolic regulator of cell nucleus. So vitamin K, it plays a role in chicken, especially as it is responsible for blood clotting. And if an animal has got a cut, it can bleed to death because of the deficiency of this vitamin. So it is important that the farm animals are supplied with these vitamins so that they maintain the metabolic processes in them. Then the water-soluble vitamins, it's B complex. When you talk of B complex, they are all vitamin B, but in different levels. B1, B2, B6, and B12. That is B1, thyroxine, B2, riboflavin, B6, pyridoxine, and B12, cobalamin. Doesn't matter even if you don't know those, but if you know the B1, B2, B6, and B12, they are important. B1, it prevents certain nervous symptoms. And if an animal have got a nervous symptom, it will have a disease called polyneuritis. It has got to do with the neurons. Then vitamin B2, if an animal has got a shortage of B2, it will be shown by the curled toe paralysis. That curled toes, it normally occurs in chickens. B6, it is for hemoglobin synthesis. We know the hemoglobin, that it is an energy carrier, it is an oxygen carrier in the blood. So if an animal is lacking B6, it will have a disease called anemia, and it will be shown by the fatigueness in the animal's body. Then vitamin B12 is for propionic acid metabolism. Then an animal, if it has got a shortage of B12, it will have a wasting disease, okanye stargazer's disease, which is also shown by the poor coordination in the hind legs of an animal, also the poor growth in an animal's body. We have come to an end of our lesson. You can leave your questions and comments. Don't forget to leave the name of your school so we can give you a shout out. Please share, recommend, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thank you for watching. You can also do a research and continue with the lesson on minerals, as we have done the Fodder Flow program. You study well, and you prepare well, and be ready on time. You look at everything that gives you enough marks so that you pass in whatever examination or test that you are about to write. Thank you.